Shalom, shalom, beloved. I am very emotional at this time as I have discovered a letter that my sister wrote in 2009 and how emotional before how it applies to this time right now, what has been on my heart as well in many ways. And so I am on a mission to get this letter heard by as many people as possible. It's something that it really hits home, and so if it does for you as well, I encourage you to share it. I'm about to read this letter. I have her permission to read it. I believe she was reminded of it when I shared it with her, but at first wasn't sure. It's something that definitely applies to us today, but was I believe has been left in the shadows. As for many of us, speaking for myself, there's been a lot of discouragement in regards to things within the Messianic movement, Messianic Jewish movement. So I'm going to read this to you now from my sister, 2009. Dear UMJC, MJAA, IAMCS, and leaders of the Messianic Community, despite pioneering efforts to unite congregations and ministries under the banner of Messianic associations, we have today in Messianic Judaism a vastly unexplored and free-for-all no man's land. We are in desperate need of a comprehensive, extensive, and cohesive educational infrastructure. While adults may attend yeshiva classes, and while our various congregations provide Shabbat school for kids during weekend services, our children yet lack ownership of their Messianic identity, and thus our future lies undefined. Years ago, a Jewish friend of mine, at the time not yet Messianic, referred to our missing ingredient as a community conversion process. However, it is the element of education, not so much the, quote, conversion practice, unquote, that is missing. How can our youth know who and what they are without being thoroughly and daily engaged in all elements of Jewish learning? Hebrew, liturgy, worship, Torah study, and Zionism. My little brother currently attends a private Christian school. He is taught about faith in God, but is he taught how to live his faith Jewishly? Of course not. In fact, there are disturbing elements of anti-Semitism and replacement theology built into the standard curriculums used by every private Christian school in America. So while his peers are being established in their Christian ideology, he is being taught to question and even resent his own Jewish identity. My family wants him to know how to interact with the community of faith at large, but how can he possibly learn to do that in any effective or healthy way without being deeply rooted in his own Messianic identity? I explored the traditional Jewish day school for my brother. In this school, children are taught from kindergarten how to live, worship, and think Jewishly. Siddur, Hebrew, and Jewish ethics are integrated into their curriculum. By 4th grade, students are speaking Hebrew conversationally. The classrooms are spacious, well-planned, and brimming with the best of resources. The boys wear kippot, and all the children learn about and observe the Jewish calendar. The artwork and creativity of the students flood the hallways. There is a diverse population of students from all different countries and denominations studying here, all except for one minority in particular. Mr. H., the head of the academy, advises a strict no Messianics allowed policy. Only 6 years old, my brother wants to be a rabbi when he grows up. Of course, he's older now, but this was in 2009. Perhaps there are a few other boys and girls who want to be rabbis and cantors in our Messianic community. Perhaps there are some who just want to grow up to be good Jewish spouses and parents, and to build up the community of faith. What chance do they really have? Christian schools are inadequate and often antagonistic to the plight of Messianics. Traditional Jewish day schools won't open their doors to us. Our children can be homeschooled or public schooled and be provided with supplemental Jewish education, but even this is inadequate for a community needing to grow and thrive. Judaism is, after all, staked in community. Our system of education must necessarily be likewise. Jewish education for our children and youth must not be individual and supplemental, but rather communal and integral. The Messianic community needs widespread, deeply funded Messianic day schools and colleges. Another reason for pursuing an infrastructure/interstate highway of Messianic Jewish learning is to alter the landscape of public opinion in Israel. Our Messianic brothers in Israel suffer slander, vandalism, and physical assault for their faith. Our biggest lobbying tool on their behalf, next to the generous outpouring of God's Spirit, is to demonstrate our support for the nation of Israel. Obviously, this can be evidenced by the results we've seen from humanitarian efforts such as the Joseph Project. But the mammoth is still hiding in the closet. We could and should be launching an educational quote-unquote land bridge to Israel. One that not only prepares our children to invest in the prosperity of our future home in Eretz Yisrael, but effectively brings Messianic Judaism out from under the stigmatism of a ragtag splinter of apostates and into a shining role of leadership in Jewish education. This educational, quote, land bridge, unquote, should provide students the chance to do cooperative learning projects with students living in Israel, projects in all areas of study such as science, music, medicine, horticulture, theater, political science, and so on. Do our youth have a firm grasp of Israel's history and knowledge of its resources? Do our youth understand the significance of Israel in regards to world politics and fulfillment of prophecy? Do our youth actively engage the culture of Israel and leave their Messianic imprint? This has to be more than holidays to Jerusalem or even work projects. This has to be a highly organized system of indoctrination, so to speak, whereby students are seeing Israel, tasting Israel, helping Israel, and imbibing Israel into their very core of beliefs and prayerful ambitions. Our educational land bridge should actively involve the soon-to-be largest minority for the Jewish population, the Sephardim, specifically our Latino Jewish brothers. The multitudes of Marranos, Anusim, crypto-Jews, and their descendants who have been seemingly lost to the world are about to make a grand re-entrance such that no human can fully imagine. Rather than creating Messianic schools based solely on the redundant Ashkenazi model, we should seize the opportunity to absorb a sprawling Sephardic population and to integrate the history, teaching, music, and thought of this vivacious and community-oriented people. As our Latino Jewish brothers gain a firm knowledge of their particular history, it will help all of us in the Jewish community to face future issues from a much broader perspective. Messianics can and should pioneer this effort. Let's not be ludicrous and dream that the larger Jewish community will ever give us the time of day if we don't give ourselves enough credit to prepare for tomorrow. Let's not regress like an ingrown toenail and pretend that by simply adopting alliances with the Christian world that we'll ever gain sufficient momentum to entirely redirect the course of history. That's what we're here for, isn't it? To be a conduit of God's kingdom, to raise road signs and remove the debris on a path out of exile, to lead lost humanity to the hope and wholeness of our Messiah's love? History can teach us if we're willing to learn. Israel is a prime example of how a no-man's land can be reborn as a world power. When it's God's will, there is a way. It's up to us to make the journey, though, and our future depends on it. By building an intensive and expansive educational infrastructure, starting from the preschool up, we can ensure that our youth know and thrive in their Messianic Jewish identity. We can make way for a massive migration into the hearts of our Jewish brothers and into the land of our fathers. Od Avinu Chai. I had to share that with you all. Again, this is not my own letter. This is a letter my sister wrote back in 2009. But I just discovered it today. And I just pray that you would be blessed, whoever watches this. This is really for everyone to hear, not just the Messianic Jewish community. It applies, yes, to us, but I believe it's even on a broader scale than that. And share it with as many people as you can. Thank you for listening. Blessings to everyone, and shalom, shalom.